My name is Dave Robbins. I'm an associate professor in DCU, which is a kind of posh name for lecturer, and my job relates to the co-centre for climate plus biodiversity plus water, because I'm interested in how audiences consume and create media around climate change and the environment. And I think by looking at how different communities around Ireland do that, it can help us engage with them around these issues. I initially, when I left school, I studied journalism, and then I did a BA in English and French, and then for some reason best known to myself, I did a research MA on the history of a newspaper group called the Irish Press Group, which went bust in 1995, and then finally I did a PhD in DCU on Ireland's media coverage of climate change. I was just thinking about how I sort of ended up here, and I was thinking that when I was leaving school and thinking about what to do in college, the idea of an academic career or a career in research just wasn't on my radar at all. I'd never heard of anybody who'd done it. Even when I was, say, doing that BA in English and French, I just thought the lecturers were lecturers, and the whole research side of it was just a mystery to me completely. So I never thought of this as a career per se. So I went into journalism for about 25 years, so it took me that long to work all this out. When you work in a university, there's kind of three parts to your job. One is the teaching bit, delivering your lectures and your classes. The second bit is research, which is supposed to be kind of co-equal with that, and that would be you can carry out bits of research on your own, where you might write a journal article and do your own research, as they say, or you can apply for funding to do a bigger project with more people that kind of gathers more data and is a bit more complex, where you might look at several aspects of something rather than just one that you're able to do on your own. And then the last aspect of a lecturer's job is called service, where you're supposed to contribute to the running of the university and to society in general. I was looking at another 20 or 25 years in journalism, and I didn't think I had that in me. Somebody described journalism as something that occupies your attention but not your mind. And my attention was at an end. So there was basically a deal to leave, and I took it, and it's around the time my daughter was born, so I wanted to spend a lot more time with her. But I got involved in environmental politics, and the whole interest in environmental politics and the experience in the media kind of came together in this PhD looking at media coverage of climate. I had been doing sort of part-time lecturing in DCU just on the kind of the mechanics of doing journalism. And when I stepped outside a newsroom and the daily grind of producing a paper, I think, journalists who have their nose to the kind of deadline all the time don't really step back and look at what's this all for and why does it matter. So that really interested me when I had the chance to do that. So it wasn't just that I kind of burnt out in journalism. I was kind of interested in these kind of more academic perspectives on it. The things that surprised me about going from journalism into academia were it can be you're a bit of a lone wolf, especially when you're doing your PhD. You're kind of working on your own a lot. It takes a while to get used to the different pace of things. And one thing that I'm still kind of coming to terms with is, in journalism, you're trying to simplify complicated issues and make a smooth narrative for people. And I had to learn to try and do the opposite in academia, concentrate on the problems, problematize, theorize. So whereas in journalism it's a pain if something is too complicated, in academia it's a delight. when I was moving from journalism, I was kind of a stay-at-home dad for a while, and then I started doing my PhD. The thing that kind of saved me was just the network of people in there, other PhD students that were in the same boat and were having the same frustrations and going through the same things. And I'm still friends with a lot of them now, even though a lot of them were a lot younger than me at the time, and still are. So that kind of network was very good. And I was doing a bit of teaching, and it's great to keep the connection with students there as well. That kind of keeps you grounded and sane. So I think they were the two things.